Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're so happy you're here with us today. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sarah. Mike, I had one of those songs stuck in my head all morning. You know, the kind that keeps repeating no matter what you do?
Oh, really? Which song was it?
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout.
Oh, the Santa Claus song. It's funny because when you really listen to the lyrics, it's actually a warning hidden inside a cheerful melody.
Exactly. Most people never think about the grammar in that song, but it's actually a perfect example for today's lesson.
Right. Listen carefully to the words. The song says, "You better watch out." It doesn't say you'd better, and it definitely doesn't say you had better.
I never really noticed that before. Those three versions all carry the same basic meaning, but they sound slightly different.
That's exactly what we're going to explore today. We'll explain had better and compare it with the entire have to family, including have to, has to, had to, and will have to.
By the end of today's episode, you'll clearly understand when to use each one, and more importantly, you'll never confuse them again.
Let's begin with the biggest difference, because everything else becomes much easier once you understand this.
Had better gives a warning or very strong advice about the present or the immediate future.
While have to talks about rules, obligations, or requirements that exist regardless of the situation. Listen to these two examples.
You'd better leave now or you'll miss your flight.
That warning only applies to this exact moment. If you don't leave now, you'll miss the flight. Now, compare it with this.
You have to show your passport at the airport.
That's a permanent rule. It applies every time you travel.
So one sentence is situational and urgent,
while the other describes a general obligation.
That's why today's lesson isn't really about learning several random grammar structures.
Instead, we're learning two completely different jobs in English.
The have to family simply changes depending on time.
Have to for the present. Has to for he, she, and it. Had to for the past.
Will have to for the future.
Meanwhile, had better stays in its own category because it isn't describing a rule.
It's describing a warning.
Here's something that confuses many English learners.
The word had makes people think this expression is talking about the past.
But that's completely wrong.
Even though it contains the word had, the expression had better never refers to the past.
It always points toward the present or the immediate future.
Listen to these examples.
I'd better go home. It's getting late.
You'd better tell your mom what happened before she finds out herself.
He'd better give me my money back.
You better behave yourself if you don't want me to get angry.
Every one of those examples contains a hidden consequence.
If you don't go home,
you'll arrive very late.
If you don't tell your mom,
she'll probably be much more upset later.
If he doesn't return the money,
he'll get into trouble.
That's the real personality of had better.
Strong advice, together with a possible negative consequence.
Let's go back to the Santa Claus song.
There are actually three common versions.
You better.
You'd better.
You had better.
All three carry exactly the same meaning.
The only difference is how formal they sound.
You better is the most casual version.
Native speakers use it constantly in everyday conversations.
You better hurry.
I better leave now.
Both sound completely natural between friends.
But they shouldn't normally be used in formal writing.
The most common version is you'd better.
You'll hear it every day.
You'd better hurry or you'll miss the bus.
Finally, we have you had better.
That's the fully written version.
It sounds more formal and much more deliberate.
Here's something interesting.
The Santa Claus song actually uses the most informal version.
Grammar experts often point out that technically the lyric could have been you'd better watch out.
But songs usually follow natural spoken English rather than formal grammar.
That's one reason it sounds so familiar.
The history of this expression is also fascinating.
It dates back almost 1,000 years.
Over the centuries, it slowly developed into the modern had better that we use today.
Later, people started dropping had while speaking naturally.
That's why you better became especially common in North America, Australia, and New Zealand.
Spoken English naturally becomes shorter over time.
That's one reason everyday English often sounds different from written English.
There's another expression that's related to had better.
Had best.
It's less common, but you'll still hear it occasionally.
The meaning is very similar.
You'd best leave before the storm gets worse.
Compared with had better, it sounds slightly stronger and sometimes a little old-fashioned.
In everyday conversation, had better is still the expression you'll hear much more often.
Now let's build the grammar correctly.
One nice thing is that the structure never changes.
I'd better go.
You'd better go.
He'd better go.
We'd better go.
They'd better go.
The form stays exactly the same for every subject.
Another important rule?
Had better is always followed by the base form of the verb.
I'd better leave.
You'd better study.
He'd better apologize.
Never say, I'd better to leave.
That too does not belong there.
Even though the expression contains the word had, remember one important thing.
It never talks about yesterday.
It only talks about right now or the near future.
That's one of the biggest mistakes English learners make, so it's worth remembering.
Now that we understand what had better means, let's look at how to use it correctly in real English.
One of the biggest questions learners ask is where the word not goes.
Fortunately, the rule is simple.
Not always comes between had and better.
Listen carefully.
You'd better not leave your bag here.
You'd better not tell Elizabeth about the broken glass.
Both examples follow exactly the same pattern.
Never move not anywhere else.
What about questions?
Technically, they're possible, but they aren't very common.
For example,
Had I better speak to Joan first?
grammatically correct.
But most native speakers would simply say, "Should I speak to Joan first?" It's shorter, simpler, and much more natural.
Interestingly, negative questions sound much more common.
Such as, "Hadn't we better call the school?" Or, "Hadn't you better switch your computer off?" Those sound much more natural in everyday English. Here's another useful fact. Had better doesn't change in reported speech. Listen to these examples. He said we had better leave immediately. He says we had better leave immediately. Notice something? The expression stays exactly the same. That's one less grammar rule you have to remember. One reason this expression is so useful is because it always carries a warning. Something bad could happen if the advice isn't followed. Listen to these examples. You'd better hurry, or you'll miss the cake. That's a fairly gentle warning. Now, compare it with this. You had better watch it. That sounds much stronger.
Almost like a direct threat.
Another example?
Your plane is leaving. You'd better run.
Again, the urgency comes from the situation.
That's why parents, teachers, and bosses often use had better.
It naturally sounds stronger than ordinary advice.
Here's another mistake many learners make.
They use had better for general rules.
Listen to this sentence. You'd better have a driving license to rent a car. It doesn't sound natural.
Why?
Because that's a permanent rule.
The correct sentence is,
You have to have a driving license to rent a car.
that's exactly where today's second grammar family begins.
Now let's move to have to.
Even though it behaves a little like a modal verb,
It actually isn't one.
that's why its grammar is different from must.
Regular verbs need do, does, and did.
For example,
Do you have to leave now?
I don't have to work tomorrow.
She doesn't have to come.
They didn't have to take the bus.
Every example follows normal verb rules.
Let's make one thing very clear.
Have to is used with
I,
you,
we,
they,
and has to,
only with
he,
she.
it.
Listen carefully.
I have to leave.
She has to leave.
We have to wear uniforms.
He has to wear a uniform.
It's exactly the same pattern as ordinary present tense verbs.
Learners often say,
I has to go.
that's incorrect.
Now let's compare must and have to, because they often seem interchangeable.
In many situations, they can express a similar idea, but the source of the obligation is different.
Must usually comes from the speaker's own decision or opinion.
While have to usually comes from an outside rule, law, authority, or situation.
Listen to this example.
I must stop smoking.
That sounds like a personal decision.
Now compare it with,
I have to stop smoking.
this sounds like a doctor has advised you, or your health requires it.
Here's another pair.
I must write a letter to John.
You've personally decided it's necessary.
I have to write a letter to John.
Someone else expects you to do it.
One obligation comes from inside.
The other comes from outside.
In everyday conversation, native speakers usually prefer have to.
You'll hear it much more often than must.
Must often sounds stronger, more formal, or more personal.
So if you're trying to sound natural in daily conversations,
Have to should usually be your first choice.
there's also a very common informal expression.
Have got to.
Listen to these examples.
Have got to tidy my room.
He's got to help me.
The meaning is exactly the same as have to.
It's simply more conversational.
However, when talking about regular habits,
Plain have to often sounds more natural.
for example,
I usually have to clean the kitchen.
that sounds smoother than I've usually got to clean the kitchen.
Questions are very straightforward.
We simply use do, does, or did.
Do you have to leave now?
That's the natural way.
Must you leave now?
Grammatically possible.
But much more formal and uncommon.
So in normal conversation,
Always choose do you have to.
Now we've reached one of the most important grammar points in today's lesson.
Many learners confuse don't have to with mustn't.
But they mean completely different things.
Don't have to means there is no obligation.
You can do it if you want, but you don't need to.
For example,
You don't have to come if you're busy.
that's your choice.
Nobody is forcing you.
Now compare it with
You mustn't smoke here.
That's completely different.
It means smoking is forbidden.
Another example.
Children don't have to eat everything on their plate.
eating everything isn't required.
But
Children mustn't play with matches.
that's a strict prohibition.
So remember this carefully.
Don't have to equals not necessary.
Mustn't equals not allowed.
There's another word with almost the same meaning as don't have to.
Needn't.
Listen carefully.
You needn't worry.
They needn't finish today.
Both simply mean there's no obligation.
Interestingly, have to isn't always about obligation.
Like,
I have to admit,
Used when you're honestly admitting something.
I have to say,
Used before giving an opinion.
you have to hand it to her.
Used to admire someone's achievement.
You have to wonder.
Used to express curiosity or doubt.
None of these expressions describe rules.
They're simply natural conversational English.
Before we finish, let's quickly review the biggest mistakes.
I'd better to leave.
Incorrect.
I'd better leave.
Correct.
You had better called him yesterday.
Incorrect.
Had better never talks about the past.
I'd not better leave.
Incorrect.
I'd better not leave.
I has to go.
Incorrect.
Let's summarize everything we've learned today.
Had better gives a warning about the present or immediate future. It usually carries a possible consequence. Have to expresses rules and obligations.
Has to is used with he, she, and it.
Had to talks about past obligations.
Will have to talks about future obligations.
Must usually expresses a personal decision. Have to usually comes from outside rules or circumstances. Don't have to means something isn't necessary. Mustn't means something isn't allowed. Once you understand these differences, choosing the correct expression becomes much easier.
And that's everything for today's lesson.
Thanks for spending your time learning with us. We hope today's conversation helped you understand these grammar structures much more clearly. Keep practicing, keep listening, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Take care. Bye, everyone.